Alright, Final Fantasy VI. New stuff that we're going to see on the banners. We got Strago gets new Legend Spheres. That's it. Water damage up. Don't like that because he's more than a water mage. He's also really effective at wind and a bunch of other stuff. I really wish that was more BLK. Whatever. It's still fine. But, yeah, don't like the single element. Legend Materia, small water damage up, low chance of low HP Medica when receiving damage from enemies. I like that. I'd like to know the specifics on it, though. Farm ends Monday night. Yeah. What are we looking for? Strago. Do we have exact numbers? %25 chance to cast an HP for 30% of target after taking damage. Anytime he takes damage, I really like that. I really like that. Well, anyway, just next after that is the banners, so we'll go take a look at those. I'm trying to make this a little quicker than usual. I say that all the time, but I'll get it eventually. First, I want to check out elemental properties. RS, RS 6, 8, 12, 13, 6. Lux BSB 2 is light armor. 8, bracer. Bracer. Light armor. Alright, well, no weapons. So, none of this here is particularly rare. Fire or holy armor, so not going to make note of it too hard there. Platinum Dagger, lock USB. I like it a lot. I like sources of extra Imperil. So we have Imperil, single target, random fire, non-elemental Imperil on cast, and self-flame hunt. Flame Hunt says when using fire elemental abilities, additionally cast Flame Hunt. One single target with a medium chance to minor Imperil. That's just really good. Draco King, thank you very much for the follow. Just gotta remember to fix that. This is obviously meant to be used with his BSB2, and they do go together very well. So please go ahead and use both of these together. We have End Fire here and Imperil Fire here for maximum synergy. Because he has a fast cast, and what you're aiming to do with the fast cast attack, more so than something like Ruby Spike, is just cast it quickly and try to get as many chances to get those minor Imperil chases as you can. So, if you're pulling on this banner, this is probably the most powerful thing that's available on it, is the lock USB and BSB2 combo. Well, no, not most powerful thing. The most powerful thing is an old thing. It's Terra's USB and OSB. So we're going to move on to that next. We have Terra's USB. We've all seen it. I've talked about it a lot recently because it just hit global about a month ago. 10 single target fire, End Fire, Self-X mode, Magitech Warrior. It's just fine. Fine Super Soul Break on cast. And we see X Magitech Warriors plus 30% magic and high quick cast for 25 seconds. Yeah, that's really good because that's a global high quick cast. That's not linked in any way to use fire abilities, like say with Vincent. It's use it on anything, so you can utilize her support 4 kit to just fire out OSBs if you want, using the End Fire, and that's fine. These two go together extremely well. Next up, I talk about the Lock BSB2, which is really good by itself. As we saw, it's plus fire armor and single target and fire burst mode. That's fine. That's just basic. And right here we see, and we like this. We have 4 single target with short cast time. Short cast time is the key. That's what makes it powerful. And that's always going to be a very powerful addition to a command. And this is situationally useful if you need to self-buff Lock. And you don't have to feel like you're losing a lot by using the self-buff because it's actually fire and non-elemental by itself. But what you are losing is the 2 extra hits, so you can't exceed 20,000 damage, and it's not short cast time. So don't just say, okay, I'm going to use Command 2, and then I'm going to start using Command 1 over and over again. It depends on the situation. But the fact that it has a strong Command 1 means that it's a viable BSB, even in the new ability era. And it's obviously meant to be paired with his USB. And, or CSB. Fast cast 4-hit is always nice to be used with the CSB. And next up, we have Terra's BSB2. We've talked about her possibly getting one for a long time, and she finally did. Terra's Arm Guard is also plus fire. And what we see here is 8 single target, end fire, and burst mode. So basic going on. Basic to start. And what we see here is, unlike Locks, she gets a much less useful increase on multiplier, or increase in damage output, while his is short cast time, which is going to exceed the capability of something like Ruby Spike. She gets higher multiplier when weaker imperiled, which means it does not exceed the capability of Chain Faraga. So you're only using this in the case where you're unable to use to hold Chain Faraga in one of your ability slots. So what you would use this for is if you want to bring Meltdown, and you use a lot of Meltdown, and use all 6 charges of your Meltdown, and then you have nothing else to use, then you would use this. But otherwise, this is exceeded by Chain Faraga, and is not a very good command. It's really here just to extend hones when you need it, so its use case is very low. And second up, we have a Stitch in Time command, which is good for the 2 times area of effect fire. This is pretty much the use of her BSB2 is area of effect fire damage, and considering that Terra is a 6-star summoner, means that Valley Garmanda is going to exceed this for area of effect fire. So this is going to, it's obviously very difficult to hone Valley Garmanda, but that's going to reduce the use case of this. Overall, I don't like this burst at all, because it's not that useful. It can be used in very, very niche situations, but it's not a good pull, because it doesn't really improve your party that much. 50 Mithril does not really... You're wishing for more, especially from the BSB area. And you get that in every part of this BSB area except for Terra's BSB2. Because Celeste's BSB2 and Mog's BSB are still both quite powerful because of what they're able to achieve, even in that portion of the game, because of their utility, where Terra loses out because it's damage focused. So next up, we do have Celeste and Mog's. I've gone over both of these very much, obviously. This is the only Grand Cross found on a Burst Soul Break, and it's a powerful Burst Soul Break. Not going to compete with some of the highest damage dealers in the game, but still competent. And that's a really nice thing to have connected to Grand Cross. So it's this is a big hit on a banner if you don't have access to it. And next, Mog. It's a BSB Faithga Mindga. Right. It's that's what we are all hoping for, Will, was that her BSB2 would be made to work with the USB, because Chain Faraga wasn't really cutting the mustard. It was only 2 hits, but then they went ahead and increased Chain Faraga to 4 hits, which just clearly made it better than most burst commands, and Terra's BSB is one of those. Is Squall's BSB2 better than Celeste's BSB2? It's hard to compare those. Squall's BSB2 is damage. Damage, 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 damage. Celeste's BSB2 is utility that does good damage. So, I personally believe so. I can't make that decision for you, though. I would value Celeste's BSB2 over Squall's BSB2. But that's because I place an emphasis on utility. So next up, we move into the Legend Materia, where Locke gets his start battle with Endfire. This is good. For the same reasons I've talked about the start battle with Endfire on other people before. What you would do in this case is, instead of using his BSB first, because that provides the Endfire, and that's what you want to do when you have a character like this. Give me the Endfire. So every Soul Break I cast after it gets that 80% damage boost. What that allows you to do is reverse your casting order and go with the USB first, and that's good. Because you're able to cast his USB after, life siphoning or ruby spiking to get the Imperil Fire, and when you cast it, you get the plus 80% damage. As well as those ruby spikes that you potentially cast before, leading up to it, also have plus 50% damage. The Endfire is good on Locke. Terra, obviously, we've seen this one before. It's a repeat. Thank goodness. An element gives 80% damage up of that element when casting Soul Breaks, but only 50% when using abilities or burst commands. B. Thank you very much for the follow. And like I mentioned on the fights that I just did, it also gives you resistance of that element. Burst gives you 20% of your statistics. It does not give you elemental damage. Yeah, that's not the first one either, Dragon. Some of them are and some of them aren't. This is going to be an interesting puzzle to solve once I'm done stream. Okay, so Terra's Legend Materia is awesome. 25% chance to dual cast fire abilities. It's great, it's fine. Obviously, you wouldn't be using this if you're doing the USB-OSB combo, because you don't actually use fire abilities with that. All you're doing is wrathing USB, wrathing, OSB, wrathing, OSB. So, if you had her 25% chance to dual cast, I don't have the Mathcraft on this, but I feel like it probably moves towards Chain Viraga being the preferred usage of the USB, so you ignore her OSB and just use the OSB as a finisher, like a normal character, and use her OSB and then just go nuts, casting and hoping to dual cast Chain Viraga and Meltdown. Next up, we have Super Soul Breaks, which are both not good at this point. Sabin's is at least kind of cool, because it does something neat, which is a party Asuna, but Portrait of Lakshmi from Realm is not desirable by anybody, except for the 1 or 2 people in the entire world that don't have a Final Fantasy VI Medica. Like me. I had to think about it for a second. I couldn't believe that I qualified for somebody that doesn't have a Final Fantasy VI Medica. Ugh. Who's part of my crew? Yeah. A Meltdown with dual casts. That's when we say, okay, thank you OSB, but we're moving on. So if you can get yourself an R3 Meltdown, you're in good hands. Next up, we have the second banner. Look at elemental characteristics. We have water damage on 16, water on 18, and fire on 24. So 16, 18, 24. Strago's OSB. That's interesting. That's super interesting. Strago's Cloak, we already knew that. And 24, Umaro's Green Cherry is ice armor, right? No, it's 20... Never mind. So it's just those 2 waters. Okay, so going down the list, we have Sabin. USB, 10 single target, physical damage on fire, self-attack and resistance plus 30%. And Quick Cast 1 and Phoenix Fist. We've seen this around. It's really he just gives him Quick Cast? Does he get that with his... No, he doesn't. He just gets Quick Cast 1. Whatever. Anyway, he gets a really powerful chase. I ranted and raved about how good Ashes sounded, and then subsequently found out that it was a really good chase because of her ability to have it, hit 6 times. And even though the multiplier, matches other chases, that means that he benefits greatly from increased damage potential. Anyway, this is an awesome chase, and this is actually just really powerful and turns Sabin into a Fire Monk god. No, water armor may be available anywhere, but remember, this is a 6-star native, and Lena's USB to this day is still extremely good because it is a 6-star native plus holy armor. This being a 6-star native plus water armor is awesome. And it's an OSB, which is really good because Strago has a crazy BSB that does things that abilities don't do, except on ninjas, and not even ninjas can't even do it that good. And black magic abilities will never be able to do what Straga's BSB does. So it's nice that they gave him an OSB instead of a USB, because USBs are meant to be used with 5-star abilities, while the OSB can be used with anything because it makes a great finisher for anything. And that is good because Strago's BSB is his primary strength. So this is awesome. This is awesome that he gets an OSB instead of a USB. And next up we have Lock CSB, which sucks that it's on this banner. It sucks that the banner format changes in the event after this to 4 6-star, because this would have been freaking awesome to put on the first banner. But it's on here instead. Because of him being a monk, is going to be super easy to hit that cap. Yeah. And that's why I don't even talk about the fact that it could do less than 6 hits. He can hit the 6-hit cap easily, so don't even worry about that. That is an awesome chase. Awesome chase. Sabin becomes an awesome Fire Monk. Okay, so Lock CSB is really good. It's just weird that it's on this banner. Strago's Cloak is an awesome BSB. It will always be an awesome BSB because it ignores resistance, but uses black magic multipliers. So it's going to do a lot of damage in almost any scenario, except when the boss is immune to the damage that you're dealing, which the commands are water, wind and earth, I believe. No, wind and water, sorry, wind and water. Taking up Sabin to replace Refia? No, I'm not gonna go that far. That's a little far. But he's good. He's really good. He's one of the best. I wouldn't put him over Refia. But very close. Very close. Like if I was almost complete on Sabin, I wouldn't even care, because it's that close. Like one's 98%, one's 100%. And that's without me knowing the actual math behind it. He may actually be better. It just, the eye test makes me think that Sabin is better. Right below Refia. That's where I put him. Sabin's BSB comes back. Never liked it. Never will. Sabin is a monk. He has tons of fire capability with abilities. He gets Endfire with his USB. His BSB is just kind of obsolete at this point, so it's kind of a dead draw, unfortunately. Realm's BSB doesn't hold the exclusive seat of being the only last stand healer medica. Penelo got a BSB too that also does that now, but it's still good. Those are the only two. And Realm, with her USB, is still one of the better healers in the game. So, this is a good pickup. Umaro's BSB, I don't think I'll ever really like it. I think it would be cute to use, though, because he has an instant cast. He can bestow instant cast upon someone with a command. I think Honestly, that's one of the things you got to see it to believe it, to really understand how it works. I don't even think I'd believe a Mathcraft because of all the variables involved in that. But anyway, his BSB just does something on casts that I don't care about, and then he can start giving instacasts to somebody, which could get kind of silly in a Squall BSB2 scenario. Someone that has a charge up during their burst, or someone that hits really fucking hard but doesn't have access to one of those attack speed ups, like Refia does. You know, she has the rapid fire, you know, or Terra, who has the the quick cast at all times, and especially with her trance. So look to somebody that doesn't have access to attack speed ups, or someone that has a charge mechanic on their BSB, and you'll probably find a person that you can combo with this and make it actually look good and be effective at the same time. Moving on to the Legend Materia next, we got low chance to double cast water damage abilities. Awesome on Drago. I think it sucks that they're really turning him into a water mage, when I liked the fact that he was kind of a dual capability on water and wind, but now he's more like water, wind, and earth, but really concentrated on water, so much so that he doesn't do the others nearly as well. Especially, like, look at his legend dive, look at this. I've never played Super Mario RPG because I didn't, that wasn't my console of choice for the generation, so the music is unfamiliar to me, so no, I haven't ever considered infusing some in. Realm's Hat, we've seen this before. This is a repeat. Pretty good Legend Materia when combined with her BSB. Especially her USB too, because you're going to be using single target cures with her. So this is really good whether or not you have her BSB or USB. So it's a pretty decent Legend Materia, but nothing spectacular. A chance for single target magic blink is eh. But can be effective. Sabin gets increased attack per use of monk abilities up to a large amount. Not a good Legend Materia, but at least it does make it easier for him to hit his attack requirement on his USB, if that was ever an issue, considering he has Meteor Crush. So kind of not really powerful Legend Materia here, while we had really good, and really good on here. I mean, first banner is really showing itself to be superior at this point. Strago's Whale Whiskers, it's a good complementary piece. That's all. I'm okay with it being here because this is a very Strago themed banner. There are 3 very good things for Strago here, so that's a good super to find on this banner. Snow Scarf, Green Cherry is not good. So definitely would say Banner 1 better than Banner 2. I feel for the people that like Sabin and are happy that Sabin finally becomes a really friggin' good character. It's just not on a particularly solid banner. Just some really good stuff weighed down by some kind of mediocre stuff. While the first banner is pretty much all around awesome, it fails here. This doesn't really belong here, but it's fine. But otherwise, everything is good, except for Terra's BSB2. And at least Terra's BSB2 is a plus fire bracer. Overall, pretty good banner. Pretty good banner. Fire themed, super fire themed. So if you're in the market for building up a fire team, you could probably hold on a lot of stuff. Obviously, Bart's has not shifted. It may have even increased in my desire for that USB and Legend Materia Relic since I first found out about it. I think that's the only one. So what's everybody think? Yeah, but, I mean, Sabin already has access to which Legend Materia. It's a good Legend Materia. 35% chance to dual cast. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Zadowel. I like this first banner very much. I just probably won't pull. The banner that comes after this that I'm going to probably review a little later in the week because I don't have the time to tonight. I've got to take off. That there's going to be a banner, hopefully, nearby this. It's kind of like the Cloud's Awakening banner. Onion Knight gets 2 USBs. So, take a look at that banner if you want. I'm probably taking off in about 5 minutes, unfortunately.